I talked a lot about people pleasing on my channel, and in general this is a topic that came up and that's been very helpful for so many people. As a former people pleaser recovering, I confirm we needed to address that. We needed to understand what we were doing, and it's talked about more and more, and that's great. Now I would like to address the cousin of people pleasing, which is man pleasing. So this video is obviously targeted at women, but whoever you are, I guess you can watch this video because we have a problem in this society and we need to start addressing that. So I volunteer to talk about men pleasing. Let's go. As the name indicates, it's really about the behavior that we tend to have, especially women. So I'm going to be really focusing on women in this video because this is how this patriarchy society is built upon, the model of women and men. So as the name indicates, it's really about pleasing men, being too nice with men because of a very wrong and old archaic belief that is implemented in all of us women in our subconscious. And so a few characteristics of man-pleasing are the following. It's hard for you to say no to men. Let me know in the comment if you identify to any of these lists. I would love to know that. So it's hard for you to say no to men. You struggle saying no. You struggle setting boundaries with men. You're afraid of disappointing men. It is hard for you to contradict men. You often agree with them. I'm really talking especially in a context of workspace, for example, but in everyday life too. You easily believe what they say as being the ultimate only truth over anyone else's voices, especially women. So it's funny because it's really the archetype of, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs type of white men with glasses that say something very seriously looking, and whatever they say, it's like the word of God. People just listen so deeply. There really is this guy knows what he's talking about because he's a man. Especially if he's white, there really is this, he must know the truth. Whatever he's saying, I believe it. It's fantastic. It's so deep. You subconsciously want to keep them satisfied. It's hard for you to see a man disappointed at you or not satisfied at the way you're behaving. You feel like you're really doing something wrong. So one of the best examples that I love to give is the way we dress. For the longest time, I have to say it, you're in front of the mirror and you know deep down that you're asking yourself, what would these people think of that outfit? Before asking what you think of that outfit, you first think about what society is going to think of that outfit. And by society, obviously, there's men behind it. You unconsciously or consciously, you don't realize most of the things that you do are for them, or should I say, you're always making sure they will be satisfied of what you did, whatever it is. That's men pleasing big times because you're not living for yourself. So there's already this people pleasing problem that is impacting all of us. But this man pleasing problem is very deep in women's subconscious because it's been injected to us for centuries everywhere. There is a huge history behind it. This all comes down to the belief that we are inferior beings. We have to serve them. We were created to serve them. Men. God created men at his image. His, because God is a dude, obviously. And he created men. And then God was like, oh my God, look at this poor dude doing the dishes all alone by himself. Oh my God, look at him trying to his by himself. That's so sad. I know. I'm gonna create another being that will do it for him. And that's how women were created. This belief, unfortunately, is so deeply rooted in our society, in the collective subconscious. There are so many symbols, and you add on top of that the weight of the religion and all the texts that again reaffirm that the role of women is to serve men. All of this will lead you to subconsciously on your everyday life behave in a way that is led by the need to please them, to serve them. You subconsciously think this is your duty in this world. This is your role in this world. And so if you haven't seen my video about how to stop being a people pleaser, I really encourage you to watch it. This is going to be very helpful because same advice apply here. You were never created to serve anyone. Everybody is perfectly equal. We don't have the same sex for procreation matter. From there, everybody does whatever the hell they want. I really want this to hit. The purpose of your existence isn't to serve anyone, let alone men. It's not to keep them satisfied all the time and never disobey or. And so this is a perfect transition for my next point, which is that on top of that, we also lived in fear because of everything that's going on in the society, everything that's been happening to women for centuries, for the longest time. All the abuse, violence, all of this are keeping us in this state of I must behave, or I don't know what could happen to me if I disobey. And this is also a belief you need to detach from. So I would love to make more videos about it, to go in depth in what I mean by all this and how to actually truly disconnect from that man-pleasing problem that we have in society that is a disease to me. The 3 things that I highly recommend you do to recover from man-pleasing and to come back to yourself. The first thing is to actually realize that you're doing that. And I know it sounds obvious, but it's way more complicated than it looks like, because it's every day. And when you're gonna start paying attention, asking yourself, why am I doing what I do? Who am I doing what I do for? You're gonna realize a lot. When you dress, deeply ask yourself who you're dressing for. You realize a lot. You're gonna realize in conversation how you naively agree too easily or too much with men just because they're men. You're gonna start paying more attention to what they're actually saying, and you will realize that most of the time it's actually BS. Or, you know what, I don't think he even knows what he's talking about. I'm not saying they never make sense. It's not about that. It's about actually positioning yourself as somebody else equal and truly understand that you have in front of you a mere human being that doesn't know what the they are doing either. And so you need to give them less power because it makes no sense. And you're gonna start paying attention to those little voices that you were neglecting so much. You're gonna start listening a bit more to what this person over there has to say. You're gonna realize that you were subconsciously just behaving on autopilot. You were programmed to just believe that they were God, that whatever they say is the truth, with this deep voice and this emotionless face, this intimidating behavior, and your whole life you've just been conditioned to think that this is scary, this knows, and it's actually reconditioning yourself about that. So paying attention to your behavior and how you man please every day will be enlightening in your journey, believe me. From there, a very powerful thing that I'm gonna need you to do is to actually use this affirmation to detach from this very poisoning belief that was injected to you before you knew it, and that's been running in your genetics, in your blood for longer than you think. And I'm serious when I'm saying this. So please repeat after me. My duty is not to serve men. I am not responsible for men. Everyone is responsible for their emotions and their desires. No one must impose it to anyone, and no one must expect anyone to take care of it. It is not women's duty to take care of men's emotion, but it's really about understanding that it's not your responsibility to actually serve them. This word was really deep. When I detached from it, when I pronounced this formula, I really felt something huge lifting from my subconscious. So it was there. There really was a programming there, and in so many women's minds, I know that. So I'm glad to share. I really invite you to repeat everything I just said. So you can find these affirmations in the description box. And then, okay, very important, you have to say, I detach from all the beliefs that don't align with these beliefs. When you do that, you actually deeply not just go in the subconscious and take that belief and put it in the trash. When you repeat that last sentence, you actually go in the trash and you click delete for good. This is very powerful. when I did this, I really felt something change in my feminine energy was activated. Something was blocking and I unblocked it. So you're gonna start realizing a lot. You're gonna start being way more self-aware of your behavior on a daily basis and how you've been living for them for as long as you remember. You're gonna start paying attention to it, and it's gonna be very hard to continue doing that, I can tell you. So there's so much more to talk about on this topic, and I would love to make more videos about it. Let me know if you enjoyed this topic, by the way. But here I really wanted to address it for the first time and let you know what you were doing so far if you didn't know. So the third thing that you can do to heal from this behavior is to actually explore yourself, just in order to gain self-trust, because we've been relying on them for so long. It's really about realizing that we were free the whole time. Personally, I decided to do something huge and I traveled to Asia a few years ago on my own. I needed to do something a bit crazy because I couldn't take it anymore, and it was the best decision of my life. Exploring yourself like this, starting to do things for yourself and nobody else, things that you know you want to do that not necessarily make any sense to anybody else, will help you realize that there is so much more in this world than just living like a little mouse, always hiding. Not only nothing happened to me, but yeah, I realized that the world wasn't as dangerous as we were conditioned to think it was, especially for women. So I'm not saying go anywhere and nothing's gonna happen. Obviously be careful, but the world isn't what they depict in movies, in the news. It is a lie, and I really want you to understand that. It is a lie. I discovered extraordinary people and I really fed that thirst of discovery, and doing this all by myself was really rewarding. Another thing that I advise doing is to start learning how to defend yourself. You're gonna gain self-confidence by understanding that nobody is perfectly immunized. Anyone can get attacked for any reason. I was talking, to a friend of mine that is a man. He's been attacked a few times in his life by other men, and they targeted him with like knives and all, and I realized that it never happened to me. It never even happened to me, and I'm a woman. In the end, everybody is exposed to danger, and we've just traumatized women so deeply with the belief that it can only happen to them, and if they step just one toe outside, they will get murdered, they will get kidnapped, we'll never see you again, and all this belief with all these movies, all these documentaries where it's always happening to women, worst scenarios possible. All of this has been feeding us with the fear and terror to actually reclaim our power and go out there and see the world for ourselves. That's why I decided to do it for myself. And you need to understand, is it really catastrophic out there? No. So I'm not saying nothing creepy is happening, but life isn't like that. In everyday life, learning how to defend yourself, to be more self-aware and present in this world, and understand that yes, I might be in a situation of vulnerability sometimes, but I can defend myself. I can defend myself if something happens to me. That really helps you regain some serious confidence. And I actually met women who've been living on their own for many years, whether in their van, traveling, and it was so rewarding to talk to people like that, to realize their daily life, not necessarily super easy peasy, but so far away from the cliche horror movie that is depicted in documentaries, in movies, in society in general. It feels like if you step a foot outside of your house when you're a woman, you want to die. Period. And no, it's not true at all. I feel like more and more women are understanding that and are going out there because they need to discover this world before leaving it. I really encourage you to do that. I got a little bit off topic right now, but all of this will give you so much more confidence to realize that you didn't come on this planet to serve anybody, to stay imprisoned in this role of obeying and serving, always satisfying men. You are so much more than that, and you have so much to discover. This world is amazing. There are so many things that you need to see, that you need to do, so many questions that you need to ask yourself about who you want, who you are, what you actually like, and I want you to realize that. and start paying attention to your daily behavior. Let me know if you would like to know more about how to actually step into your true self and detach completely from man pleasing. I can share with you what I did, what kind of activity I did that really helped me releasing, detaching from men in general. Just focus on me as a human being and step outside of this constant, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. I'm a person, first of all, and I'm not here to dress this or that way. I'm just here to live my life. Like, I don't have time for this anymore. I really don't. So I really hope this video helps you gain some serious self-trust. Yeah, let me know if you'd like to know more. I would love to share more on this topic. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. This will help me very much since YouTube algorithm is playing games with me. I gotta be honest, I'm still confused about how videos of people literally throwing up can make millions of views and the algorithm keeps playing games with me. I'm confused. So if you enjoy that type of content, I could really use a good thumbs up. Thank you. As for me, I will leave you there and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.